Hi folks, my perspective here. I'd like to relate an experience that I had about 20 years ago when I was filming on the Mascarene Islands, and the situation was similar to what we see in this image. And I was with a group of people, educated people. One of them was an amateur astronomer, and we were filming analog in those days. So we were doing a time lapse, so if it took you 4 hours to film, it took you 4 hours to capture the footage, to convert it to digital so that you could edit it on a NLE. And we're watching the sun's rays and the hotspot on the ocean floor. So I asked them a question. I said, how is it that the hotspots are moving away from us? And so they looked a bit confused. So let's analyze that. So from our position, right, we could see another island that was 250 kilometers away from us. We could see the complete island. And so the issues that I raised was this. There's the hotspots. The clouds in front of us were black. The clouds behind the sun were illuminated. That's the one issue. So from our perspective, where we were standing, I asked them, where did it appear to them that the sun was? Looking at that aspect. And they said, no, the sun appeared to be just above the clouds, but that's just an illusion. It has to be wrong. That our eyes and our minds are playing tricks on us. And then I pointed out to them that we were watching the sun move away, and we saw the hotspots move away with the sun. And at the same time, we could see the island on the horizon. So therefore, if the sun was 150 million kilometers away from our perspective, then we couldn't see the light shining down on the ocean floor. And we couldn't see the light rays shining backward. So therefore, the sun is as where we saw it. It was above the clouds. The sun is not 150 million kilometers away. And they looked and they reasoned, and they said, no, it has to be an illusion. It simply cannot be. Then I pointed out to them, well, if the opposite was true, then the hotspots would be moving towards our back. So let's look at that. In other words, the clouds are spinning with the earth, and you are spinning away from the sun. The sun is fixed, right? It's 150 million kilometers away. As you turn away from the sun, then the shadows and the hotspots should move towards your back, because you are spinning away from the light source. And we weren't seeing this. Right? So the light can't move to your front, it has to move towards your back if you're on a spinning ball. What we were seeing was the opposite. We were seeing the light and the hotspots moving over the clouds into the distance. So this told us that we're not spinning, that the sun is moving, and that the surface we're on is a flat surface. Also, we were in the southern hemisphere. So even if the light rays are coming directly at you, it's the angle of the clouds to the surface. In the southern hemisphere, those hotspots and the shadows should always be offset towards the south. And in the north, the hotspot and the shadows should always be offset towards the north. And of course, the hotspots and the shadows should move towards your back as you face the light source. Another issue is, how is it that we could see the entire set of rays? Because you're on a curved ball, you could only see the one side. You can't see around the curve. So most people, you see, for them, when they start to analyze the ball you're living on, it creates issues for them.
I will apprehend this culprit within 24 hours.
Now we are getting somewhere.
And it's only when you analyze and you think about what you've been taught that what we've been taught simply doesn't add up. Let's look at the crepuscular rays. So this issue came up. And of course they said, no, it's just our eyes and our minds that are playing tricks on us. It simply has to be. Right? That it's, I explained perspective and how perspective helps us to see. And they said, no, it cannot be. There is no way that the earth could be flat and that the sun was moving. And then I explained to them that, for example, if the crepuscular rays, if what we were seeing was a result of perspective, the crepuscular rays cannot have its own perspective. It must match the perspective of what we already see. Because what perspective is happening in your eye, the sun cannot operate outside the values of your eye. And how our eye sees things. Also, if you're living on a spinning ball, right? How is it that we could see the sun for 12 hours? Because you can't see around the curve of the ball. You couldn't see the sun for 12 hours. Remember the scripture in John 11 verse 9 when Jesus said there are 12 hours of daylight every day. Well, you'd have the 12 hours, but you wouldn't see the sun for those 12 hours. It would be impossible. And so what they said, that it simply cannot be, that our eyes and our mind are playing tricks on us. You see, could it be that the trick has already been put in your mind, and that's why you don't accept what your eye tells you or what you see? So could it simply be that because certain standards have already been placed in our mind, that we are simply not looking and appreciating the true value and the true beauty in creation? It's a wonderful world we live in. You know, the fact that the earth's getting polluted tells you that there is no appreciation for what the Creator has given us. In my last video, we spoke about the horizon, and I said that buildings cannot stick up behind the horizon. And that's true, because the horizon is the point of infinity. So even if someone argues and says, well, the buildings will be upright and you'll be upright and you can see a curve. Well, if you're upright and the building is upright, there can be no curve. The standard must apply evenly. A principle must apply in both cases the same. So the human eye has a limited range. You can only see a limited circle around you. In fact, the word horizon comes from the Greek word meaning limiting circle. So if I use a telescope, the telescope simply extends your view into the horizon. It increases your depth into the horizon. In other words, it's like having a bigger eye. The horizon stays in the same place. So, if you see a building, right, and there's water in front of the building, then you should raise your position, go into a nearby building, right? Now why? Why am I telling you to do that? I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. Right? The answer is simple. Oh, because what you're seeing is a tidal wave, and your life's in danger, and your life's about to get messy very quickly. So there's no way, unless there's a huge tsunami coming your way, that you're going to see a wall of water in front of a building. So remember in the beginning, when the folks that I was with said that our eyes and our minds are playing tricks on us. Well, the trick has been played in your mind a long time ago, right from when you started school. The ball earth That was when your mind was tricked.